Po redu predavanje sa temom Oslobođenje od prošlosti. Pre nego što krenemo sa predavanjem, imam par informacija za vas. Ako je neko od vas ko ovde sedi, a nije u mogućnosti da sutra prisustvuje predavanju, može večeras dobiti knjigu. Svi vi koji ste sakupili 4 ili više pečata, a sutra niste u mogućnosti da dođete, javite se večeras našim redarima i dobit ćete knjigu. Ali ono što želim da vam kažem je zaista, pa za mene posebno, zato što se ceo ovaj tim koji je pripremio ova predavanja odlučio da sutra sve vas počasti sa jednim zdravim obrokom. Mi sve vreme pričamo o zdravlju i sutra će biti jedna zanimljiva salata od avokada i sa još nekim lepim stvarima. Ja vas pozivam da dođete sutra, da uživamo svi zajedno u dobrom, kvalitetnom razgovoru, a možemo večeras našeg predavača Marka da pozdravimo jednim opusom.
Good evening again.
Dobro večer.
Again, it's a pleasure to be with you.
Zadovoljstvo je biti s vama.
If there is anybody here that is new,
Da li postoji neko ko je prvo veče ovde,
or maybe you've only made it to a couple of the meetings,
ili samo bio na par predavanja,
this series, each meeting builds upon the prior one.
zato što svako veče se nadograđuje na ono prošlo veče,
Right? And so there's a lot that you've missed already.
jer možda ste dosta propustili do sada,
But we are recording the sessions
ali ovo se sve snima,
so that you can be able to have access to them
tako da ćete imati pristup tome
and be able to go through them, all of them, again.
i moćete da prođete kroz to odjedan.
The first time I heard a series like this,
I prvi put kad sam ja čuo ovako neko predavanje,
I think I went over it 4, 5, or 6 times.
ja sam ga oslušao 5, 6, 7 puta.
And every time I did, I got something more out of it.
I svaki put kad sam ga odslušao dobio sam nešto više.
So that's one of the purposes of recording it,
I to je cilj snimanja,
is so that you can go back through
da možete da prođete kroz to
and draw more connections.
i da povežete još više stvari.
And tonight's meeting
I večerašnje predavanje
is not going to seem much like a medical lecture.
neće izgledati kao klasično zdravstveno predavanje,
But don't be deceived,
ali nemojte biti prevareni,
as we tend to be.
kao što činjenica je.
This has everything to do with health.
Ovo ima sve sa zdravljem.
But before I begin, let's pray.
Ali pre nego što krenemo, ajmo da se pomolimo.
Dear Heavenly Father,
Dragi Oče nebeski,
we thank you
mi smo ti zahvalni
that you love us so much.
da nas toliko voliš.
And Lord, as we consider this topic tonight,
I Gospode, kada razgovaramo o ovoj temi večeras,
we need your help to explain it.
potrebna nam je tvoja pomoć da je razumemo.
Help us to understand
Pomozi nam da razumemo
and to believe
i da verujemo
and to be free.
i da budemo slobodni.
This we pray in Jesus' name.
Ovo se molimo u Isusovo ime.
Amen.
Amen.
In my medical practice,
U mom radu kao doktor,
I get to hear many stories.
ja čujem puno priča.
People will tell you many things that have happened in their life.
Ljudi će vam reći razne stvari koje su se desile u životu.
It's almost like the doctor is the other priest.
Izgleda kao da je doktor drugi sveštenik.
Right? And so I have heard all sorts of stories from people.
Ja sam slušao svakojake priče od ljudi.
And usually people don't tell me good stories.
I obično mi ljudi ne kažu lepe priče.
They tell me the bad things that have happened in their life.
Kažu mi obično loše stvari što su im se desile u životu.
And what I have found
Ono što sam saznao
is that people are carrying a lot of emotional baggage.
da ljudi nose dosta emocionalnog prtljaga ili tereta.
And that baggage is killing them.
I taj teret ih ubija.
There is a set of studies
Postoji jedan komplet istraživanja
called the Adverse Childhood Events Study.
Raznolikost detinjstva, istraživanje raznolikosti detinjstva.
Right? And it looks at the different traumas that children go through
I sagledava razne traume kroz koje deca prolaze
and how those traumas relate to their health in later years.
i kako su te traume povezane sa njihovim životom kasnije.
And what the studies clearly show
I šta ovo istraživanje jasno pokazuje,
is that the more traumas that a child has,
što više trauma dete ima,
the more likely they will develop heart disease,
veće su šanse da će oni dobiti bolesti srca,
the more likely they will develop diabetes,
veće su šanse da dobiju dijabetes,
right? The more likely they will develop obesity,
gojaznost,
the more likely they will develop cancer,
dobit će rak,
the more likely they will smoke and drink alcohol,
pušit će i piće alkohol,
and the more likely they will eat bad diets
i velike su šanse da će se hraniti lošom ishranom
and die young.
i umreti mladi.
And the problem is,
A problem je,
the researchers don't have a solution to the problem.
istraživači nemaju soluciju za taj problem.
They know it's there,
Znaju da je prisutno,
it's a very strong effect,
ima veliki uticaj,
but they don't know how to fix it.
ali ne znaju kako da poprave to.
Their solution
Njihova solucija za to je
is to try to prevent it from happening in future generations,
da urade neku vrstu prevencije da se ne desi u budućim generacijama.
which is good,
Što je dobro,
but what about us who have already been there?
ali šta ćemo sa nama koji smo već prošli kroz to?
Is there no hope for us?
Da li ne postoji nada za nas?
Well, the answer is there is.
Odgovor je da postoji.
There is a way to get out of the baggage.
Postoji put na koji možemo da se otarasimo teret i prtljaga.
And the answer for these patients
I odgovor za te pacijente
is found right here.
je nađen ovde.
It's an old-fashioned answer,
To je neki stari odgovor,
but it's the only one that works.
ali to je jedini koji radi.
So let's get into it
Hajmo da uđemo u njega,
to see how the cross
da vidimo kako je krst
can set us free from the emotional baggage,
može da nas oslobode od emocionalnog tereta,
because it's powerful.
jer je to silno.
Paul tells us
Pavle nam kaže
in 2 Corinthians 5:21,
u 2. Korinćanima 5:21, jer onoga koji ne zjadaše greh, nas radi učini grehom, da mi budemo pravde Božije u njemu.
all right. So he, the Father,
Znači on, Otac,
made him, the Son,
je učinio njega sina,
who knew no sin.
ko nije znao za greh,
He never participated in sin.
on nikad nije učestvovao u grehu,
He made him to be sin for us.
on je njega učinio da bude greh za nas.
Right? But he did it for a purpose,
Ali je on to učinio sa ciljem,
that we might become
da bi mi postali
the righteousness of God
pravednici Božji
in him.
u njemu.
So when we think of the cross,
Kada razmišljamo o krstu,
we can recognize that there are two experiences.
možemo da prepoznamo da ima dva iskustva.
One, there is the experience of Jesus.
Postoji jedno iskustvo Isusa,
He was fully God and fully man,
on je bio u potpunosti Bog i čovek,
and he did both of them perfect.
i on je oba dve stvari učinio savršeno.
Any way that you can think of a life being perfect, his life was perfect that way.
Na bilo koji način, ako vi možete zamisliti savršen život, on je bio savršen.
And Jesus never took anything personally.
I Isus nije lično ništa shvatao.
What do I mean?
Na šta ja mislim?
If you said something or did something nasty to him,
Da ste mu nešto rekli loše ili ste mu učinili loše,
he didn't take it personally.
on nije to lično shvatao.
He didn't get personally hurt by it.
Njega to nije lično vređalo,
Now he hurt for you,
znači njega je bolilo zbog vas,
but not himself,
ali ne zbog njega.
because he was just the delivery person of his Father's love.
Jer je on bio osoba koja ima kurirsku službu ili isporuku Božje ljubavi.
And this was explained fairly well in a prior lecture.
I ovo je dobro objašnjeno u prethodnom predavanju.
He was loving.
On je voleo
And any way you want to know about love,
i ako na bilo koji način želite da znate o ljubavi,
you look at Jesus
pogledajte Isusa,
because he was the definition of it.
jer je on bio definicija toga.
You want to see how love behaves?
Ako želite vidjeti kako se ljubav ponaša,
Study the life of Jesus.
istražujte Isusov život.
He always responded perfectly
On je uvijek imao savršen odgovor
to everything that happened to him.
na sve što mu se desilo u životu.
He was eating off of his father's buffet,
On je jeo sa švedskog stola svog oca,
not off of the buffet of others around him.
ne iz restorana drugih ljudi.
And so he took that which was good from his father,
On je uzeo ono što je dobro od svoga oca
and he gave the same good stuff to others,
i on je dao te dobre stvari drugima.
regardless of what they said or what they did.
Bez obzira šta su rekli, šta su činili.
And he always understood
I on je uvek razumeo
the situation
situacije
from God's perspective.
iz Božje perspektive.
And so he responded perfectly.
I zato je imao savršen odgovor.
And Jesus had good ripples.
I Isus je imao dobre talase.
And what do I mean by good ripples?
Šta znači dobri talas i dobar uticaj?
Well, you get a stone and you throw it in the water,
Uzmete kamen i bacite ga u vodu
and the effect of the stone
i uticaj kamena
is not just the initial drop into the water,
nije samo taj kontakt sa vodom,
but it's the ripples that go out from there.
znači ti talasi koji kreću od njega.
And if you have a big enough stone,
I ako imate dovoljno veliki kamen,
the ripples will go all the way to the shore.
i ti talasi će ići na sve strane obale.
Well, Jesus was the rock of ages,
Isus je bio taj kamen
and his stone dropped into this universe.
i on je bio bačen iz univerzuma
And his perfect life
i njegov savršeni život
had perfect ripples.
je imao savršene talase
And 2,000 years later,
i 2000 godina kasnije
you and I are affected by those ripples.
vi i ja imamo pod uticajem smo tih talasa.
4,000 years before he came,
4000 godina pre nego što je došao,
Adam and Eve benefited from those ripples.
Adam i Eva imali su koristi od tih talasa.
And not only do we benefit on this planet,
Ne samo da mi imamo koristi na ovoj planeti,
but the angels benefit from those ripples too.
i anđeli imaju korist od tih talasa.
And if God has created any other creatures anywhere else,
I ako je Bog stvorio stvorenje bilo gde drugde,
they benefit from those ripples too.
i oni imaju koristi od tih talasa.
So the influence,
Znači uticaj,
the effect of Christ's life
uticaj Hristovog života
go throughout all time and all space.
idu kroz sva vremena i prostor.
And it's perfect.
To je savršeno.
And Jesus had power to overcome sin.
I imao je snagu da prebrodi greh.
And with that life,
I sa takvim životom
Jesus came to the cross,
Isus je došao na krst
no baggage.
bez tereta i prtljaga.
No baggage.
Bez tereta.
That life
Takav život,
deserves eternal life.
takav život zaslužuje večan život.
So that was the experience of Jesus.
To je bilo iskustvo Isusa.
But what about our experience?
Ali šta ćemo sa našim iskustvom?
Well, our experience is a little different.
Naše iskustvo je malo drugačije.
We're fully man,
Mi smo u punini čovjek,
none of God,
ništa nemamo božansko,
and we don't do the man part well.
i taj čovečiji deo ne radimo kako treba.
If you want to know what we are like,
Ako želite da saznate, da vidite kakvi smo,
you take an accurate description of Jesus
uzmite dobar opis Isusa
and you find the opposite,
i uzmite kontru
and that accurately describes you and I.
i to tačno opisuje nas.
So Jesus was perfect,
Isus je bio savršen,
we are sinful.
mi smo grešni.
I like this word in English
Ja volim ovu reč na engleskom,
because in English,
jer na engleskom
sinful means
grešan znači
full of sin.
pun greha.
Full of sin.
Pun greha.
That means that there's no room left for any righteousness.
Što znači da nema prostora za nikakvu pravednost.
But Jesus was the opposite.
A Isus je bio kontra.
He was so full of righteousness,
On je bio toliko pun pravednosti,
there was no space left for sin.
nije bilo mesta za greh.
Jesus never took anything personally.
Isus ništa nije lično prihvatao.
So how often do we take things personally?
Koliko često mi lično stvari prihvatamo?
All the time.
Stalno.
Every time.
Uvek.
We take it personally.
Mi to lično shvatamo.
We're personally hurt by what they say and do.
Ljudi nas lično povrede on što kažu i što čine. Isus,
he was love.
On je bio ljubav.
But you and I,
ali ja i vi,
we are selfishness.
mi smo sebičnost.
That's why we take things personally.
Zato mi stvari prihvatamo lično.
And why we try to take things into our own control.
I zato uzimamo stvari u našu kontrolu.
Jesus responded perfectly to what others said and did.
Isus je savršeno odgovorio na ono što su mu drugi radili.
We respond poorly.
Mi jadno odgovaramo na to.
And when we respond poorly,
I kad mi siromašno ili jadno odgovorimo,
we hurt others.
mi povredimo druge.
We are a perpetrator.
Mi smo izvršioci.
Of others' hurts.
Tuđi bolova. Pa.
We are also
isto tako
the unwilling victims
neželjene žrtve
of what others have said and done.
Onoga što su drugi rekli i učinili.
We didn't ask for it.
Mi nismo pitali.
We didn't want it.
Mi nismo želeli.
We don't like it.
Mi ne volimo.
But it came anyways.
Ali to i dalje došlo.
And we don't think well about it.
Mi ne razmišljamo dobro o tome.
And with all of our sinfulness and our issues,
sa svim našom grešnošću i našim problemima,
we create ripples too.
I mi kreiramo te talase.
Bad ripples.
Loše talase.
And those bad ripples,
I ti loši talasi,
it goes on and on.
Oni se nastavljaju.
If you want to know you have bad ripples,
ako želite da znate da imate loše talase,
just have children.
Imajte decu.
Yeah? You'll find out really fast.
I saznaćete jako brzo
that they get all of your bad qualities.
Da oni dobiju sve vaše loše kvalitete.
And you just passed your badness on to someone else.
I vašu loše stvari ste preneli na njih.
And if that's not enough,
I ako to nije dovoljno,
just have grandchildren.
Imajte unuke.
And you'll see it show up in their generation too.
I pokazat će se u njihovim generacijama.
We've got ripples.
Imamo talase.
Bad ripples.
Loše talase.
And the unfortunate thing about ripples,
I neka tužna stvar u vezi tih talasa,
when they go,
kada odu,
you can never get them back.
Nikada ne možete da ih vratite.
You can never get them back.
Ne možete da ih vratite.
We are powerless to overcome sin.
Mi nemamo silu da prebrodimo greh, da pobedimo.
And with all of this sin,
I svim ovim grehom,
with our wrong responses,
sa našim pogrešnim odgovorima,
with being the victim,
kada smo žrtve,
and all of its unintended consequences,
I sve te štetne uticaji,
we come to the cross,
mi dolazimo na krst,
with a lot of baggage.
Sa dosta tereta.
So we are just the opposite of Jesus.
Mi smo kompletno kontra od Isusa.
And this life
I ovaj život
deserves eternal death.
Zaslužuje večnu smrt.
So it's kind of a bad picture, isn't it?
To je loša slika, zar ne?
It is. But before we solve the problem,
ali pre nego što rešimo problem,
let's go take a trip back in time.
Hajmo da se vratimo u prošlost.
And we're going to go to ancient Israel.
I vratit ćemo se u stari Izrael.
They've just been liberated from Egypt.
Oni su bili oslobođeni iz Egipta.
They're in the midst of the desert.
I u sred su pustinje.
And God shows Moses a sanctuary.
I Bog je pokazao Mojsiju svetinju sa šator od sastanka.
And he says, I want you to build it after the pattern you saw.
Hoću da napraviš ovo po modelu koji sam ti dao.
And God tells him how this service is going to operate.
I Bog mu kaže kako će ovo da funkcioniše, ta služba.
So let's say you're an Israelite.
Hajmo da kažemo da ste vi Izraelac
And you have sinned.
i da ste vi zgrešili.
Well, what do?
Šta treba da učinite?
Well, you must bring a sacrifice.
Mora da prinesete žrtvu.
Right? And that sacrifice might be a perfect looking lamb.
I ta žrtva mora da bude savršena ovca.
And so maybe you live somewhere in the outer parts of the camp.
I možda živite na nekim periferijama, krajnjim delovima kampa.
You pick out this good looking lamb.
I uzmete ovo lepo jagnje.
And you start walking towards the center of town.
I onda krećete kroz centar grada, kroz kampa.
Some of the neighbors might see.
Neki komšije će da pogledaju.
Say, oh, that's a good looking lamb.
O, to jagnje dobro izgleda.
I wonder what he did this time.
Pitam li se šta je on sad uradio?
So there's a little bit of humility that goes into even bringing the lamb in the first place.
Znači, postoji malo i sramote, jer vi mora da pronesete to jagnje.
But you take that lamb.
Ali uzmete to jagnje.
And you go into this outer court.
I ođete u ovo predvorje.
Right? Around here in the outer court.
Ovde ispred.
And you lay your hand on that lamb.
Znači, vi stavite ruku na ovo jagnje.
And you confess your sin over that lamb.
I vi priznate grehe na ovom jagnjetu.
And in symbol,
I u simbolu,
the sin is transferred from you to the lamb.
Greh je prebačen sa vas na jagnje.
And then you, the sinner,
znači vi kao grešnik,
you take a knife,
uzmete nož,
and you slit that lamb's neck.
I vi prerežete grkljan, vrat, tom jagnjetu.
And it bleeds to death in your hands.
I ono iskrvari u vašim rukama.
That lamb,
to jagnje,
did not have anything to do with your sin.
To jagnje nema nikakve veze sa vašim grehom, nije ništa uradilo u vezi vašeg greha.
But in essence, it takes your sin.
Ali ono uzima vaš greh.
And it dies the death that sin deserves.
I umire smrću kojim to greh zaslužuje.
And the priest comes and takes some of the blood.
I sveštenik dolazi i uzima deo krvi.
And he takes it to this altar out here.
I odnosi ga na ovaj oltar.
And he puts it on the four corners of the altar.
I stavi ga na 4 ćoška oltara.
And twice a day,
2 puta na dan,
the priest himself does the same sacrifice.
Sveštenik radi istu žrtvu.
And he takes the blood from that sacrifice.
I on uzima krv od te žrtve.
And here is the sanctuary.
I ovde je šator od sastanka.
And he takes it into the first compartment of that sanctuary.
I on ga odvodi u prvi deo tog šatora od sastanka.
Right here.
To je ovde.
And he takes the blood to the altar of incense.
I on odnosi krv kadionik.
And he puts it on the four corners of the altar.
I stavlja ga na 4 ćoška kadionika.
And he sprinkles some on the curtain separating the holy place from the most holy place.
I on onda to pošprica delom na zavesu koji razdvaja svetinju od svetinje na svetinja.
So, in symbol, the sin is transferred from the individual.
Znači, u simbolu greh je prebačen sa osobe
to the lamb,
na jagnje,
through the blood of the lamb,
kroz krv jagnjetovu,
by the priest,
sveštenika,
to the sanctuary.
U šator od sastanka, svetinju.
And there all of the sin of Israel accumulates all year long.
I na tom mestu svi gresi Izraela se kupe.
And one day a year,
jednog dana godišnje,
there's a special service,
postoji posebna služba,
where there's another sacrifice,
postoji još jedna žrtva,
by the high priest,
od visokog sveštenika,
and the blood of that sacrifice,
i krv te žrtve,
is brought into the most holy place,
odvedena je u svetinju nad svetinjama,
where the presence of God is,
gde je prisutnost Božja,
the mercy seat,
gde je sedište milosti,
the Ark of the Covenant,
kopčeg zaveta,
and inside the Ark was the law of God that was broken.
A u tom kopčeku zaveta je 10 Božje zapovesti koje su prekršene.
And that blood is sprinkled on the mercy seat.
I ta krv se onda pošprica na to sedište milosti.
And the priest, the high priest, then goes out into the outer court.
I onda visoki sveštenik izlazi.
And out there is a goat.
I na tom mjestu se nalazi jarac,
a scapegoat.
žrtveni jarac.
And the priest
I sveštenik,
confesses all of the sins of Israel over that scapegoat.
on ispoveda sve grehe Izraela na tom jarcu.
And that goat is led by a strong man
I taj jarac se odvodi sa nekim koji je snažan čovjek
out of the camp of Israel,
van izraelskog kampa
out into the desert,
u pustinju
never to return again.
i nikad se više neće vratiti.
So in this service,
U ovoj službi
God was giving a pictorial or picture description
Bog je dao slikovitu sliku
of how he's going to take care of the sin problem.
kako će da reši problem greha.
The individual sins,
Znači osoba sagreši,
the sin by confession
znači greh kada se prizna,
is transferred to the lamb.
se prebacuje na jagnje,
The lamb dies the death that the sinner deserves.
znači jagnje umire smrću koju grešnik zaslužuje,
The sin is transferred to the sanctuary,
znači greh se prebacuje na svetinju
and then eventually to the scapegoat,
i onda je na kraju na žrtvenog jarca
which takes all of the sin of the Israel out into the wilderness.
koji uzima sve grehe Izraela i odvodi se u pustinju.
So who was the lamb?
Koga predstavlja jagnje?
Jesus.
Isusa.
John the Baptist said, "Behold the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world."
Kaže, zapazite jagnje Božije koje uzima grehe sveta.
So yes, Jesus was the lamb.
Znači, Isus je bio jagnje.
Who was the priest?
Ko je sveštenik?
Jesus.
Isus.
That's right. We read about that in Hebrews.
To čitamo u Jevrejima poslanici.
Hebrews is all about Jesus being our heavenly high priest.
U Jevrejima poslanica govori da je Isus naš visoki sveštenik.
So what sanctuary is he ministering in?
U koje svetinje on služi?
The sanctuary in heaven,
U svetinji na nebu.
which Moses made the earthly one after its pattern.
Po kome Mojsije napravio na zemlji, po maketi zemlje.
So the sin will be transferred from the person.
Znači, greh će biti prebačen na osobu.
Jesus dies the death they deserve.
Isus umire smrću koju oni zaslužuju.
In heaven, he's our high priest,
Na nebu on je naš visoki sveštenik.
mediating on our behalf.
On nas zastupa.
The sin is transferred to the heavenly sanctuary.
Znači, onda se greh prebacuje na nebesku svetinju.
And one day soon,
Jednog dana uskoro,
that sin will be transferred to Satan,
taj greh će biti prebačen na Sotonu,
the scapegoat.
koji je žrtveni jarac.
And he will pay for all the sin he caused God's children to commit.
I on će platiti za sve grehe koje je uzrokovao da deca Božija počine.
So now that we understand that sanctuary model,
Sada kada razumemo ovaj model svetinje,
let's go back to the cross.
hajmo sada da idemo na krst.
Because the cross is a central piece in that whole plan.
I krst je centralna tačka ovoga svega.
So Paul again told us,
Pavlo nam je opet rekao,
for he made him who knew no sin to be sin for us.
da je on koji je napravio njega da bude greh, on je greh za nas.
Now that lamb that became the sinner's sin,
Znači, ovo jagnje koje je postalo greh,
did the lamb ever itself sin?
da li je jagnje ikada sagrešilo?
No.
Ne,
No, it was perfect.
bilo je savršeno,
But it took
ali je uzelo
the sinner's sin,
grešnički greh,
it became guilty for the sinner's sin,
postalo je krivo za taj greh
and it died the sinner's penalty.
i umrlo je kaznom koju grešnik zaslužuje.
Now that was a symbol,
To je simbol,
but this was the real thing.
ali ovo je prava stvar.
When Jesus came and on the cross,
Kada je Isus došao i na krstu,
he took our sin.
on je uzeo naše grehe.
He became our sin.
On je postao naš greh.
Not that he ever himself sinned,
Ne zato što je on zgrešio,
but as our substitute,
ko naša zamena,
he took it all.
on je sve to uzeo.
So on the cross,
Na krstu,
right, who was it? Right, who was it that that was, what's that first word? Sinful.
Yeah.
That's right.
Grešan.
Who was it that was sinful?
On the cross? Ko je na krstu bio grešan?
Jesus.
Isus.
Jesus. As our substitute,
Ko naša zamena,
he became the one who was sinful.
on je postao onaj koji je grešan.
Right? On the cross,
Na krstu,
who was the one that was personally hurt?
ko je bio lično uvređen, povređen?
Who was it?
Ko je to bio?
Jesus.
Isus.
Right? On the cross,
Na krstu,
who was it that was selfish?
ko je bio sebičan?
Jesus.
Isus.
Again, not that he participated in any of these things.
Opet, ne, on nije učestvovao u nijednim od ovih stvari,
Just like the lamb never participated in it.
ko što jagnje nije učestvovalo u ovim stvarima,
But he became it for us.
ali on je postao to za nas.
On the cross, who was it that was the perpetrator?
Ko je na krstu bio izvršitelj?
Jesus.
Isus.
Who was it that was the unwilling victim?
Ko je bio ta neželjena žrtva?
Jesus.
Isus.
Who was it that was that had the bad ripples
Ko je taj koji ima loše talase, loš uticaj,
that you can never get back?
koji ne možete nikada da vratite?
Jesus.
Isus.
Who is it that was powerless to overcome?
Ko nije imao, da nije imao silu da prebrodi, pobedi?
Jesus.
Isus.
And who was it that carried the heavy baggage?
I ko je taj koji je nosio teret?
Jesus.
Isus, da.
Everything our life was
Sve što je naš život nekada bio,
is what Jesus became.
to je Isus postao.
That he might take the penalty that our life deserves,
Da bi mogao da uzme kaznu koju naš život zaslužuje,
which was eternal death.
što je večna smrt.
You see, eternal death
Vidite, večna smrt,
is not eternal dying.
to nije večno umiranje.
It's not eternal dying.
Znači, nije večno umiranje,
It's a death with an eternal result.
to je smrt sa krajnjim rezultatom.
It's death from separation from God, the source of life.
Znači, to je smrt kada ste vi odvojeni od izvora života, Boga.
And Jesus went through that.
I Isus je prošao kroz to.
It's why he cried on the cross,
I zato je on zaplakao na krstu:
my God, why have you forsaken me?
Bože moj, zašto si me ostavio?
He did it for you and me.
On je to učinio za tebe i mene.
So again, Paul tells us,
Pavle nam kaže,
for he made him who knew no sin to be sin for us.
znači on je postao greh za nas,
But he did it so that we might become
on je to učinio da bi mi postali
the righteousness of God in him.
pravednici Božji u njemu.
So there's another side to this exchange on the cross.
Postoji još jedna strana ove razmene na krstu,
And that is where Jesus gives us his life.
to je kada Isus nama daje njegov život.
So when you and I enter into this exchange on the cross,
I kada vi i ja dođemo na ovu zamenu na krstu,
who is it that's perfect?
ko je savršen? Ja.
Who is it then that has no personal hurts?
Ko nije lično povređen?
Okay.
Ja.
Who is it that is loving?
Ko je onda voljen?
Me.
Ja.
Who is it that responded perfectly to everything that ever happened?
Ko je savršeno odgovorio na sve što mu se desilo u životu?
Me.
Ja.
Who is it that has the perfect ripples through all time and space?
Ko ima savršene talase kroz svo vreme i prostor?
Me.
Ja.
Who is it that has power to overcome?
Ko ima silu da prebrodi?
Me.
Ja.
And who is it that has no baggage?
I ko je onaj ko nema nikakav teret?
Me.
Ja.
Me. It is a complete exchange of life for life.
To je kompletna razmena, život za život.
History for history.
Istorija za istoriju.
And that life
I ovaj život
deserves eternal life.
zaslužuje večni život.
The Bible tells us in John 3:16.
Biblija nam kaže u Jovanu 3:16,
For God so loved the world
jer je Bog toliko voleo svet
that he gave his only son,
da je dao svog jedinog sina,
that whoever believes in him
da kogod veruje u njega
should not perish,
neće umreti,
but have everlasting life.
ali će imati večan život.
Now, let me just explain a few things here.
Želim samo da vam objasnim neke stvari ovde.
Well, when Jesus was on the cross, he became our sin.
Kad je Isus bio na krstu, on je postao naš greh,
But when he died, he ceased to be it for us.
ali on kad je umro, on je prestao to da bude.
And that sin, through his priestly ministry,
Kroz njegovu svešteničku službu
is transferred to the heavenly sanctuary.
je prebačeno na nebesku svetinju.
When you and I enter into the experience of the cross,
Kada vi i ja uđemo u iskustvo krsta,
we get the life of Christ completely.
mi dobijamo kompletno Isusov život.
When heaven sees us, heaven sees Jesus.
Kada nebo vidi nas, ono vidi Isusa.
But when we come to Christ in the first place,
Ali na prvo mesto kad dođemo kod Isusa,
we don't give him all of our heart,
mi mu ne dajemo naše celo srce,
even though we think we do.
iako mi mislimo da mi to činimo.
The reality is,
A realnost je,
we only give him all that we're aware of.
mu damo samo ono čega smo svesni,
But God accepts it as a complete gift.
ali Gospod prihvata to kao kompletan poklon.
But there's much of our heart that's not surrendered to him,
Ali veći deo srca još nije predat,
much that we're not aware of.
puno toga što još nismo svesni.
And so over time,
I preko vremena, i kroz vreme,
he reveals more and more what is in our hearts,
on sve više i više otkriva šta je u našem srcu,
so that we can surrender that too to him.
da možemo i da to predamo njemu.
And the more we surrender,
I što više predamo to njemu,
the more ground he has in our hearts.
on više pokriva u našem srcu.
And we fall again.
Znači mi možemo opet da padnemo.
And then we come back to the cross.
I opet se odemo kroz krst.
And accept the divine exchange.
I prihvatimo nebesku božansku razmenu.
We move from one difficulty.
Pomerimo se sa jedne teškoće
to others.
Do druge.
And overcome one after another.
I prebrodimo jednu pa drugu.
And eventually at the end,
I konačno na kraju,
we look just like Jesus.
Izgledamo kao Isus.
So that's kind of the pictorial description. That's
to je neka slikovita opis.
Now let's get deeper into this.
Ajmo sad malo dublje uđemo u ovo.
Because we need to.
Jer moramo.
Our past
naša prošlost
tends to control the direction of our future.
Obično kontroliše našu budućnost.
If you grew up in an alcoholic home,
ako ste odrasli u alkoholičarskoj kući,
you're likely to end up an alcoholic later.
Šanse da postanete alkoholičar su velike kasnije.
If you grew up in an abusive home,
ako ste odrasli u kući gdje ima dosta nasilja,
you're likely to end up being abusive later.
Postoje velike šanse da ćete vi biti nasilni kasnije.
It's like the history of our life
izgleda kao da prošlost našeg života
is the barrel of the gun
kao da je neka cev pištolja
that directs the movement of the bullet.
koja usmerava putanju metka.
And every one of our lives,
I svaki od naših života,
the gun barrel,
znači taj cev pištolja,
is pointed in the wrong direction.
Usmeren je ka pogrešnom.
It will never hit the target.
I nikada neće pogoditi metu.
So God is not interested in just wiping out your past.
Znači, Bog nije zainteresovan samo da izbriše vašu prošlost
and giving you a blank slate.
I da vam da čist papir.
Because to do that,
da bi to učinio,
is like taking a bullet
to je kao da uzme metak
and throwing it into a bonfire.
i da ga baci u vatru,
which way is it going to go?
i na koju stranu će da ode?
You don't know.
Vi to ne znate.
It just depends on which way it lies.
Samo to zavisi kako je on pao.
Will it hit the target?
Da li će pogoditi metu?
Probably not.
Verovatno ne.
And so Jesus designed
Znači, Isus je dizajnirao
to develop a different gun barrel
da stvori drugačiju cev
that was pointed directly at the target,
koja je upravo usmerena ka meti,
so that no matter what bullet you put into it,
da nije bitno koji metak stavite unutra,
it will always hit the target.
uvek će da pogodi metu.
And so Jesus steps into our timeline,
Zato Isus dolazi u naš životni vek,
our history,
našu prošlost,
and he takes our bullet for us,
i on uzima taj metak za nas,
so that he might move us into his history,
da bi mogao da nas pomeri u njegovu prošlost,
into his timeline,
u njegovu sadašnjost,
so that we might take his bullet.
da mi možemo da uzmemo njegov metak.
An exchange of life for life.
Zamena život za život.
So let's dive a little deeper.
Ajmo sad još dublje da uđemo.
Let's imagine that a number of years ago,
Hajde zamislimo da pre više godina
you got in an angry argument with someone.
ušli ste u neku ljutitu svađu s nekim,
And at the end of the argument,
i na kraju svađe
you were standing,
vi stojite,
they were not.
a oni ne stoje.
And they were dead.
Oni su mrtvi.
Whoops. Not good.
Nije dobro,
Don't want to go to prison.
ne želim da idem u zatvor.
So you hide the body,
Vi sakrijete telo,
you clean up the evidence,
počistite sve dokaze
nobody finds out what happens.
i niko nije saznao šta se desilo.
And you're free.
Vi ste slobodni.
Right? You can live where you want, do what you want.
Možete živjeti gde god hoćete, da radite, slobodni ste.
But are you really free?
Ali da li ste vi stvarno slobodni?
No.
Ne.
No. Because everywhere you go, there you are.
I svugdje da idete, to je prisutno.
The guilt follows you everywhere.
Krivnja vas svugde prati,
Fear follows you everywhere.
strah vas svugde prati,
You wonder who's going to find out and when they're going to find out.
bojite se kada i gde će neko da sazna.
Right? You are free in the body,
Vi ste slobodni u telu,
but you are captive in the mind.
ali ste vi zarobljeni u umu.
And today you find out about this divine exchange on the cross.
I danas saznate za ovu razmenu na krstu.
And you realize that what God is offering to you
I shvatate ono što vam Bog nudi,
is to take your place.
da zameni mesto.
Jesus will enter into your history.
Isus će ući u vašu prošlost,
He will take your place,
uzet će tvoje mesto
and he will move you off into his history,
i stavit će te u njegovu prošlost,
and you take his place.
a ti uzmeš njegovo mesto.
Sound like a good plan?
Da li vam to izgleda kao dobar plan?
It's completely unfair.
Kompletno nepošteno.
It's a result of God's grace.
To je rezultat Božje blagodati.
You see, grace
Blagodat,
is giving a gift to another
date poklon nekom drugom
who does not deserve it,
koji ne zaslužuje to
never can,
i nikad ne može
and will never pay for it.
i nikad neće platiti za to.
God's grace
Božja blagodat
gives the gift to everyone,
daje dar svakome,
but not everyone benefits from the gift.
ali nema svako korist od tog poklona.
Because not only does the gift need to be offered,
Ne samo što dar, poklon mora da se preda,
but the gift needs to be accepted.
ali poklon mora da se prihvati.
And it is faith
A vera
that accepts the gift.
koja prihvata poklon.
Paul tells us,
Pavle nam kaže,
for by grace you have been saved
jer blagodaću ste spašeni
through faith,
kroz veru.
and that not of yourselves.
I to ne od vas samih,
It's the gift of God.
to je dar Božiji.
Right? So, faith
Vera
takes hold of the gift.
uzima taj dar,
You believe that the exchange is yours.
vi verujete da je razmena vaša
In the moment that you do so,
i u trenutku kada to uradite,
who now is not the murderer?
ko sada nije ubica? Ja.
I'm no longer the murderer.
Ja više nisam ubica.
Because Jesus takes my place.
Isus uzima moje mesto.
Now, we recognize as we grow in our Christian life,
Kako mi rastemo u našem hrišćanskom životu,
we recognize that, there's things like truth,
mi prepoznamo da postoje stvari kao što je istina,
confession,
ispovedanje,
repentance, and so on.
Pokajanje.
There were other family members that were hurt by that murder.
Postoje drugi članovi porodice koji su bili povređeni ovim ubistvom.
And they deserve to know what happened.
I oni zaslužuju da znaju šta se desilo.
So you confess what was done.
I vi priznate šta ste učinili.
An investigation ensues.
I onda istraga je pokrenuta.
You are taken to trial.
I odvedeni ste na sud.
Found guilty of murder.
Osuđeni ste za ubistvo.
Put in prison.
I u zatvoru ste.
Who is not guilty?
Ko nije kriv? Ja.
I'm not guilty.
Ja nisam kriv.
Hang on, how can I not be guilty?
Kako ja mogu da ne budem kriv?
Because the court found me guilty.
Jer me je sud presudio da sam kriv.
Well, which court decision matters?
Koja odluka suda je bitna?
The lower court or the higher court?
Nižeg suda ili višeg suda?
The higher court.
Višeg suda.
Right? And the court of heaven is the higher court.
I nebeski sud je viši sud.
And the court of heaven says,
a nebeski sud kaže,
Jesus took your place.
Isus je uzeo tvoje mesto,
You're not guilty.
ti nisi kriv.
He already paid the prison sentence.
On je već platio tu zatvorsku kaznu.
You go free.
Ti si slobodan.
So now you're in a human prison.
Vi ste sada u nekom ljudskom zatvoru
And you find your captivity has been changed.
i shvatate da je vaše zatvoreništvo zamenjeno.
You were free in the body
Bili ste slobodni u telu,
and captive in the mind.
a zarobljenik u umu.
Now you are free in the mind,
Sada ste slobodni u umu,
but captive in the body.
ali zarobljenik u telu.
Which would you rather be?
Šta bi vi radije bili?
Paul and Silas,
Pavle i Silas,
they could sing hymns at midnight,
oni su mogli da pevaju himne u toku noći,
having been beaten and thrown in prison.
da su ih tukli i stavljali u zatvor.
Why?
Zašto?
They were innocent.
Bili su nevini.
They were innocent.
Nevini su bili.
And we can be just as innocent
I mi možemo da budemo nevini.
because of the cross.
Zbog krsta.
Another point.
Još jedna tačka.
Let's imagine that you had a past that was not perfect.
Hajde da zamislimo da ste imali prošlost koja nije savršena.
Anybody here had perfect parents?
Da li neko ima savršene roditelje?
Perfect parents?
Savršene roditelje?
No.
Ne.
No. They just didn't tell you all the stuff they did.
Samo nisu rekli sve stvari koje su radili.
Nobody had perfect parents
Niko nije imao savršene roditelje.
because they're just as deceived as you are.
Jer su i oni prevareni kao što ste i vi.
Right? And so some of us have been through a living hell.
I neki od nas u prošlosti živi pakao.
Some of us have been abandoned.
Neki smo nas bili ostavljeni.
Some of us have been neglected.
Neki smo bili zanemareni.
Some of us have been abused.
Bili smo zlostavljani.
Some of us have been molested.
Seksualno zlostavljani.
Some of us have been rejected.
Bili smo
Right? We've been through all sorts of stuff.
Bili smo kroz svakojake stvari.
And it's impossible for us to love the ones that did it to us.
I nemoguće za nas da volimo one koji su nam to učinili.
And we hold on to resentment.
I mi držimo tu gorčinu.
We hold on to bitterness.
Držimo tu gorčinu.
We sometimes hold on to revenge.
I razmišljamo o osveti.
Right? And let's say that has been our experience for years.
Hajmo sad da razmišljamo da je to naše iskustvo bilo koje je trajalo godinama.
But today we find out about the cross.
Ali danas saznamo o krstu.
And we see that what Jesus is offering to us
I vidimo ono što nam Isus nudi,
is he's offering to enter into our past
on nudi da uđe u našu prošlost,
so that he might become the one who was abandoned.
da onda bude on taj koji je zapostavljen, odbačen,
He might be the one who was neglected.
zlostavljen,
He might be the one who was abused.
u stvari zanemaren pa zlostavljen,
Right? He might be the one who was molested.
koji je seksualno zlostavljen,
He might be the one who was rejected.
koji je odbačen,
And he moves you off into his timeline
i on vas pomera u njegovo vreme
so that you get his life.
da vi dobijete njegov život.
Now, his life was not free from bad things.
Njegov život nije bio oslobođen od loših stvari.
A lot of bad things happened to Jesus,
Puno loših stvari se desilo Isusu,
but he always saw them from the right perspective.
ali ih je on uvek gledao iz dobre perspektive.
And he never took it personally.
I on ništa nije uzeo lično.
And so he never had resentment.
I onda on nije imao nikakvu osjećaj krivnje, osvete. Griže savesti, da.
He never had bitterness.
Nikad imao gorčinu.
He never had thoughts of revenge.
Nikad imao misli nekome da se osveti.
He felt sorry for the ones who were treating him that way.
On se osjećao žalostno za one koji su ga tako loše tretirali.
So the moment faith accepts the gift,
I u trenutku kada vera prihvati taj dar,
you believe that it's yours
vi verujete da je to vaše,
because he gives it to you.
jer vam on to daje.
You're no longer the victim
Vi niste više žrtva.
because Jesus becomes the victim for them.
Isus postaje žrtva za vas.
You go free.
Vi ste slobodni.
Let's imagine that you're doing prison ministries.
Hajmo da sada zamislimo da pomažete ljudima u zatvoru.
You're going to the prison to minister to the inmates.
Znači, idete u zatvor da pomažete zatvorenicima,
You're trying to reveal to them the love of God,
pokušavate da otkrijete ljubav Božju u njima,
help them to realize that they can be forgiven,
da pomažete da shvate da oni mogu da im se oprosti,
they can be free in the mind even though they're a prisoner in the body.
i da budu slobodni u umu, iako su zatvorenici u telu.
It's not hard to love the prison inmates,
Nije teško voleti zatvorenike,
even though they might have done bad things to get there.
iako su učinili loše stvari i dospeli tamo.
There might be murderers,
Možda su ubice
there might be rapists,
i oni koji su seksualno zlostavljali ljudi,
right? There might be individuals that have beat up others,
osobe koje su pretukle druge ljude,
right? But it's not hard for you to love them.
ali nije teško voleti ih.
Why?
Zašto?
Because they didn't do it to you.
Zato što oni to nisu vama učinili.
If they did it to you,
Da su oni to vama učinili,
it would be a different story.
bila bi to drugačija priča.
You remember the story of the 11-year-old girl that went missing?
Da li se sjećate one priče, one devojčice koja se izgubila kad je imala 11 godina?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Govorili smo o tome.
No, that wasn't this morning, was it?
No.
It was yesterday, okay. I forget when I said what.
Zaboravim šta kažem.
So that 11-year-old daughter that went missing,
Ta 11-godišnja devojčica koja je nestala bila,
who was murdered,
koja je bila ubijena,
let's imagine her parents were doing prison ministries.
hajde sada zamislimo njene roditelji koji su pomagali ljudima u zatvoru.
And today when they go to do prison ministries,
I danas kada idu da pomažu u zatvoru,
they see the man who murdered their daughter.
vide osobu koja je ubila njihovu ćerku.
How easy will it be for them to love him
Koliko lako će njima sada da bude da vole njega
and to desire his best good?
i da žele njemu najbolje.
Humanly speaking,
Sa ljudske tačke gledišta,
impossible.
nemoguće.
Impossible.
Nemoguće,
Because he did it to them.
jer je on to njima učinio.
But what Jesus is offering at the cross,
Ono što Isus nudi na krstu,
he is offering to enter into our place.
On hoće da zauzme naše mesto.
To take it away from us.
Da uzme od nas,
So that it's no longer us that they did it to.
da oni to više nisu nama učinili,
It's Jesus they did it to.
oni su učinili to Isusu.
Jesus said,
Isus je rekao,
if you have done it to the least of these my brethren,
ako ste učinili jednom od moje braće,
you have done it to me.
učinili ste meni.
So when that man murdered the 11-year-old girl,
I kad je ovaj čovjek ubio ovu 11-godišnju devojčicu,
who did he murder?
koga je on ubio?
Jesus.
Isus.
That's right. And what did Jesus say about that man?
I šta je Isus rekao u vezi tog čoveka?
Father,
Oče,
forgive him.
oprosti mu.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Ne zna šta je učinio.
And when Jesus can be the victim,
Kad Isus može da bude žrtva
and he can desire their forgiveness,
i da želi njihov oproštaj,
because he realizes they're crazy,
jer shvata da su oni ludi,
then we, who are no longer the victim,
mi koji više nismo žrtve,
we can love them too,
i mi možemo da ih volimo.
because no longer did they do it to us.
Jer oni sada nisu učinili to nama.
They did it to Jesus,
Oni su to učinili Isusu.
and he already offers them forgiveness.
I on im već nudi oproštaj.
The cross
Krst
opens up the possibility
otvara mogućnost
that we might love the ones who hurt us,
da volimo one koji nas povrede.
because it takes away from us the fact that we were the victim.
Jer to oduzima od nas da smo žrtve.
So 2 more points I want to make here.
Još samo 2 tačke koje želim ovdje da pokažem.
Forget everyone else in the world.
Zaboravite sve druge na svetu.
It's just you and Jesus.
Samo vi i Isus.
Before the cross,
Pre krsta,
between you and Jesus,
između tebe i Isusa,
how many perpetrators are there?
koliko izvršilaca postoji?
There's one.
Samo jedan.
Who is it?
Ko je to?
It's me.
To sam ja.
Or you.
Ili ti.
After the cross,
Posle krsta,
between Jesus and you,
između Isusa i tebe,
how many perpetrators are there?
koliko sad ima izvršilaca?
One.
Samo jedan.
Who is it?
Ko je to?
It's Jesus.
Isus.
That's right. So pay attention.
Obraćate pažnju,
Wake up.
probudite se.
Right? I want you to get this one.
Hoću da shvatite ovo.
If you are still the perpetrator,
Ako si ti dalje izvršilac,
if you're still the one who said and did those things,
osoba koja je rekla i učinila te stvari,
if you're still the one responsible for the bad ripples
i ako si dalje odgovoran za te loše talase,
that has affected others and you can never get back,
koji su uticali na drugi, ne možete da vratite nazad,
if you're still holding on to the guilt,
ako još držite neku krivnju,
the self-hatred,
znači da mrzite sami sebe,
the shame,
sramotu,
then you're living in an experience that is before the cross.
onda živite u iskustvu koje je pre krsta.
Because when you come to the cross,
Jer kada dođete na krst,
Jesus takes your place for you.
Isus uzima mesto za tebe.
He takes everything that was done.
On uzima sve što si učinio
He takes the guilt and the shame and the self-hatred,
i on uzima tu krivnju, mrzost za sebe
and you go free.
i vi ste slobodni.
You go free.
Znači slobodni ste, oslobođeni ste.
Second point.
Druga tačka,
Between you and Jesus before the cross,
a između tebe i Isusa na krstu, pre krsta,
how many unwilling victims are there?
koliko je neželjenih žrtava?
One.
Jedan.
Who is it?
Ko je to?
It's me.
To sam ja.
Or you.
Ili ti.
After the cross,
Posle krsta,
between Jesus and you,
između Isusa i tebe,
how many unwilling victims?
koliko je neželjenih žrtava?
One. Who is it?
Jedna, ko je to?
Jesus.
Isus.
That's right. So again, pay attention.
Znači, zapamtite,
If you are still the victim,
ako ste i dalje žrtva,
if you're still the one they said and did those things to,
ako je neko nešto rekao vam ili učinio vam,
if it's still hard for you to love them,
ako vam je dalje teško da ga volite,
and it's hard to let go of that resentment and bitterness,
i ako imate dalje tu grižu savesti i gorčinu,
then you're living in an experience that is before the cross.
onda živite u iskustvu koje je pre krsta.
Because when you come to the cross,
Jer kada dođete na krst,
Jesus takes your place.
Isus uzima vaše mesto.
He takes all of that stuff,
On uzima sve te stvari
and you go free.
i vi ste slobodni.
You cannot enter into the Christian life
Vi ne možete da uđete u hrišćanski život
and continue to be the perpetrator.
i da budete i dalje izvršilac,
Neither can you enter into the Christian life
i ne možete da uđete u hrišćanski život
and continue to be the victim.
i da budete i dalje žrtva.
Because at the cross,
Jer na krstu
you go free.
vi ste slobodni,
Completely free.
kompletno slobodni.
And I know so many Christians
Ja znam puno hrišćana
who have heard of the cross all their lives,
koji su čuli za krst ceo njihov život,
but they never understood.
ali nikada nisu ovo razumeli
And so they never went free.
i nikada nisu bili slobodni.
What does it take to go free?
Šta je potrebno da bi bili slobodni?
To believe.
Da verujete,
Faith.
vera,
Right? For God so loved the world
jer Bog toliko je voleo svet,
that he gave his only begotten Son,
da je dao svog jedinog sina,
that if I believe in him,
jer ako ja verujem u njega,
I should not die,
neću umreti,
but have everlasting life.
imaću večan život.
That's what he offers.
On to nam nudi.
So how much of your sin did Jesus pay for on the cross?
I za koliko tvojih greha Isus platio na krstu?
All of it.
Sve.
That's right. All of it. Did that include everything you've ever done?
Da li to uključuje sve što ste učinili?
Yeah.
Da.
Does that include everything you will ever do?
Sve što ćete uraditi?
Yeah.
Da.
Your whole life was future at that point.
Vaš ceo život je u tom trenutku bila budućnost.
Right? Does God know the future?
Da li Bog zna budućnost?
Yeah.
Da.
Psalm 139 verse 16.
Psalam 139:16. Zametak moj videše oči tvoje. U knjizi je tvoje sve to zapisano i dani zabeleženi kada ih još nije bilo ni jedno. 139:16.
So we see here that God knows the future.
I ovdje vidimo da Bog zna budućnost.
He knows everything that will ever happen to us.
On zna sve šta će nam se desiti.
Everything we will ever do.
Sve što ćemo ikad učiniti.
And on the cross,
I na krstu,
Jesus did not just pay for sin in general.
on nije samo platio za generalni greh,
Jesus paid for every specific sin that was ever or would ever be committed.
za svaki specifični greh koji će ikada biti počinjen.
Everyone.
Svaki od njih.
From everyone.
Od svakoga.
And so knowing everything that we would ever do,
I znajući da šta god ćemo mi da uradimo,
he accepted you as his child.
on vas je prihvatio kao njegovo dete.
Knowing everything that would come up later.
Znajući šta će sve doći kasnije.
So that means
To znači,
nothing will ever come up
ništa neće se pokazati
that will make God say,
što će reći Bogu,
whoops,
ops,
forgot to pay for that one.
zaboravio sam da platim za ovo,
Oh, whoops,
ops,
that one was too big for me.
ovo je bilo preveliko za mene,
Right? Whoops.
ops.
No, God will never say that.
Bog nikad to neće reći.
Because he saw it all
On je sve to video
and he paid for it all.
i za sve to platio.
Already.
Već.
Right? It doesn't matter what you do.
Nije bitno šta činite,
Jesus has already paid the price on the cross.
on je već platio cijenu na krstu.
And he offers you forgiveness full and free.
i on vam nudi oproštaj u potpunosti,
why wouldn't he?
zašto on to ne bi?
He already paid the price.
On je već platio cenu.
But just because he paid the price,
Ali samo zato što je platio cenu,
does that mean that you're automatically forgiven?
da li to znači da ste vi automatski oprošteni?
No.
Ne.
No. You see, grace provides for the forgiveness,
Znači, blagodat pruža oproštaj,
but faith must accept it.
ali vera mora da ga prihvati.
Faith complies with the conditions of forgiveness
Znači, vera udovoljava uslovima
and accepts the forgiveness that is offered.
i prihvata oproštaj koji se nudi.
What are those conditions of forgiveness?
Koji su to uslovi oproštaja?
And we'll talk about them more specifically tomorrow night.
A sutra uveče ćemo govoriti o tome,
But it involves confession,
ali to govori o priznavanju greha,
it involves repentance,
pokajanju
and it involves restoring,
i obnovljenju,
right, the things that were damaged.
stvari koje su naškodile,
So it is faith in Christ
povređene, i vera u Hrista,
that his sacrifice is sufficient for my sin,
da je njegova žrtva dovoljna za moje grehe,
that it was sufficient for me.
da je bila dovoljna meni.
It's that faith that reaches out and takes the gift
To je ta vera koja hvata taj poklon
and seals the transaction.
i zapečati transakciju.
And I am justified before God.
Ja sam priznat pred Bogom.
When God sees me,
Kad me Bog vidi,
he sees Jesus.
on vidi Isusa.
It's beautiful.
To je prelepo.
Absolutely beautiful.
To je apsolutno prelepo.
Forgiveness restores relationship.
Opraštanje obnavlja odnose,
And the cross
a krst,
is the great restorer of relationship.
krst je veliki obnovitelj odnosa.
So that the door is always open
Da su vrata uvek otvorena,
for us to enter back into relationship with God.
da mi uvek možemo da uđemo u odnos sa Bogom.
But just because the door is open
Ali samo zato što su vrata otvorena,
doesn't mean that we have to walk through.
to ne znači da mi moramo da prođemo kroz njih.
We still have freedom to walk away.
Mi dalje imamo slobodu da ne uđemo kroz ta vrata.
And we're so crazy, we're so deceived
I mi smo toliko prevareni
that many do walk away
i puno ljudi ne prođe kroz ta vrata.
from such wonderful salvation.
Kroz tako lepog spasenja.
If there's anything that reveals that we really are crazy,
Nešto što stvarno pokazuje da smo mi malo ludi,
it's the fact that we see any of us walk away from such a salvation.
da vidimo svakog ko bi ne bi prošao ili ne bi krenuo ka tom spasenju.
I want to pray with you right now.
Želim da se pomolim sada sa vama.
And then we'll have our announcements and questions.
I onda ćemo imati obaveštenja.
So let's just bow our heads.
Ajmo da pognemo glavu.
Dear Heavenly Father,
Dragi Oče nebeski,
we thank you for giving your Son
hvala ti što si dao tvoga sina,
to be our sin for us,
da bude greh za nas,
that we might become the righteousness of God in Him.
da bi bili pravedni u Bogu.
We see now in a much deeper way
Sada vidimo neki dublji način
what you have done to set us free.
šta si učinio da nas oslobodiš.
And perhaps there are some here right now
I možda su neki ovde
who desire to go free like that.
koji bi želeli da idu tako slobodni.
And it's maybe time for them to make that decision.
Možda za njih vreme da učine takvu odluku.
To believe that that gift is for them.
Da veruju da je taj dar za njih.
To accept it by faith.
Da prihvate verom
And to allow you to set them free.
i da dozvole da ih ti oslobodiš.
So with all eyes closed,
Sa zatvorenim očima,
nobody watching,
niko ne gleda,
If that's your decision right now,
Ako je to tvoja odluka,
just raise your hand to heaven.
samo podigni ruku ka nebu.
Yes, Lord, me.
Da, Gospode, ja.
I choose to accept that freedom.
Ja prihvatam tu slobodu.
Where you take my sin and die from it.
Da si uzeo moj greh I umro,
And I get your life
I ja dobijem tvoj život
and the eternal life that it deserves.
I večni život koji zaslužujem.
You can put your hand down if you put it up.
Možete spustiti ruku ako ste podigli.
Thank you, Lord,
Hvala ti, Gospode,
for making this available.
što si to učinio dostupnim.
Through the wonderful grace of Jesus.
Kroz predivnu blagodat kroz Isusa.
We pray in Jesus' name.
A ovo se molimo Isusovo ime.
Amen.
Amin.
Da, možemo. Pre nego što počnem sa pitanjima, ja želim da vas obavestim da ćemo uskoro na adresi internet www.hacbg.org izbaciti ova predavanja koja su bila ovde ili ako vam je teško zapamtiti ovu adresu, ukucajte Hrišćanska adventistička crkva I pronaći ćete predavanja na sajtu. Takođe, zarad bolje komunikacije vas I nas iz tima koji je pripremao ceo ovaj serijal predavanja na izlasku kod naših redara, imate ovakav jedan papir gde možete da ostavite vaše podatke koje ćemo mi upotrebiti isključivo da vas pozovemo na sledeća predavanja koje imamo u vidu. Evo sada možemo da damo odgovore na pitanje.
Now, for those of you that came late,
Za one koji su došli kasno,
what did this have anything to do with health?
kakve ovo veze ima sa zdravljem?
It has everything to do with health.
Ima sve da radi sa zdravljem, ima velike veze.
Because when you go free like that,
Jer kada idete slobodni,
it takes away a huge amount of stress
to otkloni veliku količinu stresa
that contributes to all sorts of disease.
koja dovodi do svih vrsta bolesti.
And when people go free like that,
I kada su ljudi slobodni od toga,
it's amazing to see how they begin to heal physically.
nevratno je kako se oni fizički iscele.
So it has everything to do with health.
Ima puno da učini sa zdravljem.
All right, so some questions.
Neka pitanja.
Is depression the result of chemical imbalances in the body, or is there something else?
Da li je depresija neka hemijska neravnoteža u telu ili nešto drugo?
It is absolutely true
Apsolutno je istina
that there are chemical imbalances in the brain
da postoje neke hemijski disbalans u mozgu
in individuals that have depression.
u osobama koji imaju depresiju.
And it's true
I istina je
that if you take certain medications,
ako imate određene koristite neke lekove,
that it can change some of those chemical concentrations,
da može da promeni neku hemijsku koncentraciju
and for a while,
i za neki vremenski period
you can feel better.
osjećate se bolje.
But
Ali
the chemicals are not the cause.
ali hemikalije nisu uzrok,
The chemicals are the effect,
one su posledice.
right? The cause
Uzrok
is always thinking.
je uvek razmišljanje.
And the chemicals are produced in response to the thought.
A hemikalije su proizvedene tako što su ih misli pokrenule.
So we can have certain thought processes
Znači, mi možemo da imamo određeni proces razmišljanja
that then change the chemistry in the brain
koji menja hemijsku strukturu u mozgu,
and leads to depression,
koji vodi do depresije,
right? And the solution
a solucija
is not the medication.
nisu lekovi.
The solution
Solucija
is changing the thought processes.
da promenite način razmišljanja.
And tomorrow night,
I sutra uveče
we're going to talk about
govorit ćemo
how to overcome negative thoughts.
kako da prebrodite negativne misli.
That'll be one of the things we talk about tomorrow night.
To će biti jedna od stvari o kojima ćemo govoriti sutra.
So pay attention at that time,
Obratite pažnju tada.
because we'll give you some keys that you can use.
Daću vam neke odgovore.
Next question.
Sljedeće pitanje.
I wish I could hear you comment on the Bible statement.
Želim da vidim vaš komentar na neki biblijski citat.
If you gain the whole world,
Ako dobiješ celi svet,
but lose your soul,
ali izgubiš svoju dušu,
what gain is that to you?
kakva je to dobit za tebe?
Well, to me it seems very straightforward.
Za mene to izgleda jasno.
You can become as rich as you want to be.
Vi možete da budete bogati koliko hoćete da budete bogati.
You can gain all the possessions you want.
Možete da imate sve stvari.
You can be as popular as whoever.
Možete da budete popularni.
You can try out all the pleasure that you want.
Možete da probate sva zadovoljstva.
You can try all of the things that the world offers.
I da probate sve što svet nudi.
But if in doing so,
I činjeći to,
you lose your soul.
Izgubite vašu dušu.
Meaning you lose salvation.
Znači izgubite spasenje.
What have you gained?
Šta ste dobili?
For example,
Na primjer,
if I were to offer you
kada bi vam ja ponudio
$1 billion or $1 billion euros,
milijardu evra,
billion, every day
svaki dan,
for the rest of your life,
do kraja vašeg života.
every day you get another $1 billion.
Znači svaki dan dobijete milijardu evra.
But in exchange for that,
Ali zamena za to,
you will not have eternal life,
nećete imati večan život,
no heaven,
nema neba,
no any of that.
ništa od toga.
Is it worth the $1 billion every day?
Da li je to vredno milijardu evra svaki dan?
To lose out on eternity?
Da izgubite za večnost?
Some might say, yeah,
Neki će možda reći da,
look what I could do with $1 billion.
vidiš šta mogu da radim sa milijardu dolara.
Some 95% will go.
Yeah. Right. But after you have $1 billion every day,
Ali pošto imate milijardu dolara svaki dan,
after a while,
posle izvesnog vremena,
you'll find out you're no happier than you were before.
nećete saznati se ništa sretniji nego pre.
In fact, you become increasingly unhappy,
Postaćete sve više nezadovoljni,
unsatisfied,
nesrećni, nezadovoljni,
paranoid.
paranoični.
Who's going to want to kill me to get my money?
Ko će me sad ubiti da dobijem moj novac?
You start hiding it,
Počinjete da krijete,
protecting yourself.
da se zaštitite.
Your life turns into a living hell.
Vaš novac se pretvara u živi pakao.
Right? $1 billion a day
Milijarda dolara na dan
is not worth losing out on eternity.
nije vredno gubiti večnost.
Right? Eternity is worth far more than that.
Večnost puno više od toga vredi.
So that's what that text is telling me.
Taj tekst govori to meni.
And next question.
Sljedeće pitanje.
Why in the United States most of the institutions examine Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's?
Zašto u Sjedinjenim državama većina ustanova pregleda osobe sa Parkinsonom i Alzheimerovom bolesti,
But they don't spend much on multiple sclerosis.
a ne provode puno vremena na multiple sklerozi?
And with multiple sclerosis,
I sa multiple sklerozom
you have young people
imate mlade ljude
that can work well,
koji mogu da rade
and they can work for a long time,
i mogu da rade duži vremenski period,
but they're getting sick.
ali oni postaju bolesni.
Well, first of all, there is a lot of research that's going on with multiple sclerosis.
Postoji dosta istraživanja koje se rade oko multiple skleroze,
But with every condition, there's a lot that we don't know.
ali sa svakom bolešću ima nešto što mi ne znamo.
Why is it that we have more emphasis on one thing than another?
I zašto se čini da više posvećujemo pažnje jednoj stvari odnosno na drugu?
Part of it is because some people are interested in a particular issue.
Zato što su neki ljudi više zainteresovani za neki problem.
Right? You know, like after Christopher Reeve, Superman,
Posle udesa koji je imao Christopher Reeve, Supermana koji je glumio,
right? After he broke his neck
kad je slomio svoj vrat,
and was paralyzed,
kad je bio paralizovan,
there was a lot more interest in how we might try to fix that paralysis.
postalo je veće interesovanje kako da se izleči ta paraliza.
Right? And so there are some factors like that.
I postoje neki takvi faktori.
When it comes to multiple sclerosis,
Kad je u pitanju multipla skleroza,
do you want the one thing that has been shown in research to have the greatest effect on multiple sclerosis?
da li hoćete jednu stvar koju istraživanja pokazali ima najveći uticaj?
It's a low fat,
To je ishrana koja ima malo masnoća,
high fiber,
puno vlakana,
plant-based diet.
biljna ishrana.
Research done all the way back from the 1930s and 1940s,
Znači istraživanje koje vode čak od 1930. i 40.
and 50 years of follow-up on patients that have been treated.
I 50 godina posle za ljude koji su bili tretirani.
It's the single factor in research that's shown the greatest effect on prolonging life and function.
To je jedan od najjačih i najvećih faktora koji produžuju život
In multiple sclerosis.
kod ljudi koji imaju multiplu sklerozu.
Can you explain Epstein-Barr virus with cancer?
Da li možete da objasnite Epstein-Barr virus sa rakom?
There are several viruses that have been known to cause cancer.
Postoje nekoliko virusa koji znamo da prouzrokuju rak.
And how they do so
I kako oni to čine?
is the viruses can integrate their genetic material into your DNA.
I kako virus ulazi u vaš DNK.
So their genetic material gets into your DNA,
Znači, taj njihov genetski materijal ulazi u DNK
and if it gets put in at a specific location,
i ako on stane na posebno mesto,
for example, close to a gene that regulates the cell cycle,
blizu gena koji reguliše mjesečni ciklus,
then in response to that,
u odgovoru na to,
the regulation of the cell cycle is broken down,
znači slomljen je taj ciklus, mesečni ciklus,
and cancer can result.
i to može da uzrokuje rak.
Epstein-Barr is only one of those that can do that.
Epstein-Barr virus je jedan od tih koji mogu to da učine.
There is a comment that all autistic children
Postoji komentar da sva autistična deca
and all those with autoimmune disease have this virus in their liver.
i svi koji imaju autoimunu bolest imaju taj virus u jetri.
I'm not aware of that.
Ja nisam samo upoznat sa time.
So if it's the case,
Ako je to slučaj,
yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
ja još to nisam vidio.
Okay. Do we have to use antidepressants?
Da li moramo da koristimo lekove protiv depresije?
No.
Ne moramo.
No. You need to let Jesus set you free.
Mora da dozvolite da vas Isus oslobodi.
Right? You need to think like he thinks.
Mora da razmišljate kao što on razmišlja.
Go for walks.
Šetajte.
Get your sunshine.
Uzimajte sunčevu svetlost.
Eat healthy food.
Jedite zdravu hranu.
And God will help you to get out of that depression.
I Bog će vam pomoći da izađete iz te depresije. This question is...
You go ahead and read it to them.
Okay. Pitanje je da li postoji neki predmet koji mogu da se služe da bi suzbili zračenja telefona, prirodnog ili veštačkog zračenja koji treba da se koriste. So is there a certain device you can use that would lower or eliminate radiation from TV, cell phones, such a thing?
There are some people that sell devices
Postoje ljudi koji prodaju takve predmete
that supposedly protect you from electromagnetic radiation.
Koji bi mogli da vas zaštite od elektromagnetnog zračenja.
Here's how you can test whether it works.
Ako možete da testirate da li to radi,
Take the device,
uzmite taj predmet,
put it near your phone,
stavite ga blizu telefona
and see if your phone loses all signal.
i vidite da vaš telefon izgubi signal.
If your phone loses all signal,
Ako vaš telefon izgubi signal,
then it probably works.
onda to radi.
If you can put it near your phone
Ako ga stavite blizu telefona
and you still get calls,
i dalje dobijate
you
pozive
can still access your Wi-Fi,
i dalje možete da imate pristup internetu,
it doesn't do anything.
bežičnom internetu, onda to ništa ne čini.
We know that there are certain things that can block certain types of radiation,
Znamo da postoje neke stvari koje mogu da blokiraju određene radijacije zračenja,
like X-ray
kao što je rengen
or gamma rays
ili gama zraci,
and lead.
to je olovo.
Right? So if you build into your walls of your home lead,
Ako uzidate olovo u vašoj kući
then and the roof
i krov
and the floor,
i pod,
then it will protect you from a lot of that electromagnetic radiation.
zaštitit će vas od dosta te elektromagnetnog zračenja,
But watch out,
ali pazite,
because the lead itself is poisonous.
ali olovo samo po sebi je otrovno.
So I'm not sure you want to do that.
I ne znam da li to želite da učinite.
So thank you very much.
Hvala vam puno.
Tomorrow night,
Sutra uveče,
same place, same time.
isto vreme,